We just show up, we keep it routine, and we do our job.
Absolutely. No worries whatsoever.
As we see the double-decker buses making their way at Washington and Racine. We had over 2 million people in Grant Park and along the parade route in 2013. Just under 2 million in 2010. Be interesting to see what the final numbers the city provides for us. And, kudos to the city, able to put this together. These plans have to be in private and in quiet weeks ahead of time, just in case this happens.
Yep.
But ultimately, to execute this game plan from Monday night when you find out they win it, to get this thing going here on Thursday is pretty remarkable.
Especially with the type of weather we've been dealing with.
Exactly.
I think everyone said, let's do it at Grant Park. And then you find out the conditions at Grant Park are basically underwater.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't work.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people know that. I think people are disappointed it's not in Grant Park. But yeah, trust me, you wouldn't want to be there right now. You're covered in mud. Maybe that'd be kind of fun, but I like the atmosphere here at Soldier Field.
So we see the buses making their way right now along the parade route. They begin at Washington and Racine, heading east to Des Plaines. They'll then head south a couple blocks to Monroe, and then go east as they make their way to the Mag Mile. Jen Latta is live along the parade route. Jen, take it away if you can even hear us.
I can hear you guys. A lot of excited people down here at Monroe in Michigan. I am with Joe and Justin. It's warm out here, and look at the job that Dad is doing. He's got little Justin up on his shoulders. Joe, why was it important for you to bring your son out here?
We came back in 2013 when they actually won the Cup. We're back here again. It's a father-son thing that we're actually doing.
So you guys have started a tradition.
It's tradition.
All right, talk about being a Hawks fan. What has this meant to your family? What has this meant to the city?
It's actually something that we can do together as far as, being able to watch the game together. He is an upcoming Hawk, so he actually does play hockey. He plays at the Crystal Lake Ice House. So, he definitely wants to be out there on those buses when they come by.
Justin, who's your favorite Hawks player, and what was your favorite moment from this season?
My favorite Hawks player is Taze, and I like the saves that Crawford does.
He does a lot. He has a lot of saves, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And what position do you play in hockey? And tell me about your dreams of one day being a Blackhawk.
I want to be a goalie when I start on the NHL. It's gonna be really cool.
It really will. And you know what? That's the great thing about this parade and the success that the Blackhawks have had. You've seen the fan base just grow exponentially. Little guys like Justin here, who might not have gotten involved in hockey otherwise, have thought, well, that's pretty cool. I'd love to be an NHLer one day, not an NFLer, not an NBAer, not an MLBer. They want to play hockey. So that's what the Blackhawks have done for this community, stretching far and wide. These guys coming all the way from Crystal Lake down here just to be a part of this special event. That's the story down here, guys. We'll continue talking to devoted fans, but for now, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Jen, thank you very much. I thought it was really interesting the other day to hear from Kimmo Timonen, who at age 40 finally goes off, skates off into the sunset with that Stanley Cup. But how he talked about, of all the teams he's played with, Nashville, Philadelphia, all the different players he's been in the room with, it was until he got here to Chicago, he never saw the commitment, the physical commitment that these guys put in, whether it's in the weight room or training, even taking care of their bodies, rest-wise and food. And I thought that was sort of telling for a guy that's been in this league 16 years.
And a guy who put his health on the line to take this shot. Read a great article and then asked him about it on the ice after the game, and he said, look, every doctor I went to said, you're done. Shut it down. He said, and I found one guy that said, we can manage this. And he goes, it was such a lure for him. He goes, and I have family members that will not watch him play for the Hawks because they're terrified something would happen. So he called him after the game and go, I'm healthy, I'm good, we play again in 2 days, we'll be okay. And he said, to be able to put the cup over my head, it was all worth the risk.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I knew I was gonna be emotional, you know. But when they won the cup, there's the countdown: 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, all the way down to 1. Crawford throws his gloves off, tears his helmet off. Everybody embraces. The sticks and gloves are littering the ice, and I was like, okay, I'm all right, you know. Like, this is cool to see, but I was kind of mellow, and it felt a little bit flat to me, you know. But then the cup comes out, they wheel out the red carpets, and then the instant Taves handed that cup to Chemo, I lost it.
It was awesome.
I'm not ashamed at all to say that I cried. You know, and I got a lot of friends who are diehard Philly Flyers fans, and that was nice for them to see. But it wasn't just a gift. It wasn't like a, hey, Chemo, we're gonna get you a cup. Like, he worked for it, and he deserved it. And I thought the interview he gave right after, I thought that was super classy. You know, and he said, this is the price I pay for a 20-year career. And he was ready to just take the cup and hand it right back off.
Yeah,
I said, no, buddy.
Take it for a skate.
You skate with it. And you just see the genuine, the joy and the elation as he screams and he lets that all go, that emotional release, and you just see the weight lifted off his shoulders. And he knew going in that was his last game, and he retires a Stanley Cup champion. Hell of a story.
And I think when you bring in guys that have not won the cup, it changes the dynamic a little bit. It's like, let's win one for Chemo, win one for Vermette. I think that, you know, Desjardins, for that matter.
Bonding
it does. You know, I mean, these guys, I think that what I marvel most about this run is, and you could speak to it, Punk, is that, you know, these guys are set financially. They've reached hockey's holy grail, most of them, until the other night, a couple of times. They've won gold medals.
Yep.
The fact that they're willing to put it out on the line, and at the end of the day, they just like winning. I mean, Patrick Kane says, I love this game. And you can just tell he loves the game. Ultimately, he loves to win, too. And it's not about the bank account or whatever. It's ultimately reaching this prize and then the payoff on a day like today.
You know, I asked John Lester about, he's won 2 in baseball. And he said, I just want people to experience what it feels like to so immerse yourself, give everything you've got, and in the end, to accomplish the unthinkable.
It's selfless. Like, yeah, everybody who's been there picks everybody else up and brings them up to their level. But they also play to that level. You know, like you said, I mean, Vermette, you know, to me, one of the biggest keys about the Blackhawks' victories was winning faceoffs. And that was one of the biggest things Vermette was brought in the Hawks to do. And we murdered everybody in faceoffs. Not everybody, but, you know, especially that last game against Tampa Bay, murdered them in faceoffs. And it's all about that puck possession. You get the possession, you can score. Other teams are worried about throwing hits. If you're hitting somebody, you don't have the puck. You can't win. You can't score.
Before Ryan Kessler tees off today, someone should remind him that a human being can withstand the punishment they were doling out.
They absolutely can. And, you know, that's really been the question. Will speed overcome the brawn? And it certainly has the last 2 cups. You talk about the guys that come into the equation and are trying to win the cup for the first time. They also have to adapt to, you know, a team that is basically set. And, you know, Vermette said, you know, I'm in Arizona. I'm on the top line. I'm on the top power play unit. I come here. It's a different role. Yep. It takes them time to get adjusted to following versus being the leaders.
Great point. You know who talked about that after the game was Brad Richards.
Yep.
He said, oh, my goodness, I come here. He goes, first 2 months, people are going, this guy can't play with this team. He said, I knew by the time we got to the playoffs, I'd find my role. He said, it's not easy.
He said yesterday, Brad